has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. And these are policies that were absolute nonsense throughout the government and the private sector. With the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made, America will once again become a merit-based country.
Joining me now is Sean Harper, professor of public policy, business, and education at the University of Southern California and founder and chief research scientist of the USC Race and Equity Center. Professor, it's an honor to have you here. Look, DEI efforts, they date back to the civil rights movement to create more diverse and inclusive workplaces because of the racist history of this country. And just like in Woodrow Wilson's time, what happens in that federal government is often repeated in the private sector. We've seen recently companies like Target, McDonald's, Walmart, Meta, and others, they're rolling back their DEI initiatives. How much do you think that these collective moves, either publicly in our government sector and privately in our business sector, they're going to set the nation back?
You know, if people were taught the real truth, they would understand the consequential nature of the policy decisions that are being made right now that are going to lead to catastrophic outcomes and even more pronounced racial inequities and wealth gaps between groups.
On Tuesday, he revoked the Equal Employment Opportunity Rule that was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965, which stipulates that employers can't discriminate against job applicants or workers on the basis of race, gender, and other protected characteristics. This is a policy that was paid for in blood by the civil rights movement. And in 2023, white people still the majority of federal workers at 59.5%, and men are still outnumbering women 55% to 45%. 74% of senior executive level positions held by white workers. Reversing these initiatives could lead to a huge backslide on progress.
Shalom. I want to start by saying all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone, and salutations to the Hakim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, and to the whole full elect constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Kara Allah, and Lord, it's an edifying lesson. The title is going to be Negroes, so-called, are devastated by new legislations. Okay, now Trump is, signing legislations like a machine, okay? And something he signed recently is affecting the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Latino Slovakia. Something he signed recently is affecting the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American community. All right, and it's gonna affect them as far as landing a proper job or career, and ultimately financially. Okay, so you heard what the video was playing, MSNBC, right? So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna go into a few words out of the video and go into the scriptures, and Lord makes for an edifying lesson. Okay, this says diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, are organizational frameworks which seek to promote the fair treatment and full participation of all people, particularly groups who have historically been unrepresented or subject to discrimination on the basis of identity or disability. These three notions, diversity, equity, and inclusion, together represent three closely linked values which organizations seek to institutionalize through DEI frameworks. The concept predates this terminology. It says the concept predates this terminology, and other variations sometimes includes terms such as belonging, justice, and accessibility. As such, frameworks such as inclusion and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belong, okay, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, or diversity, equity, inclusion, or accessibility. Okay. So this is an act that Trump got rid of. And it says here, signed by President John F. Kennedy, okay, on March 6, 1961, which included a provision that government contractors take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and employees are treated fairly during the employment without regard to the race, creed, color, or national origin. Right? So Trump said this is a foolish act. He got rid of it. And he said people have to get hired off merit. Now, let's go into that. Merit-based means something is based on a person's skills, abilities, or achievements. For example, a merit-based scholarship is a financial award given to students based on their academics performance. Okay, so that's a good example. But when it comes to colleges and these elite schools and whatnot, a lot of Jakes won't get in. Okay, if this act is done away with, then that means that you could be discriminated. All right, and they could give your position to someone else, not on merit, but maybe just on complexion, maybe just on the looks. All right, maybe just on their beliefs. So, kind of contradicts itself, but nonetheless, this is the act that was done away with. It's legislation that Trump passed. All right, so Jake got to deal with it. But now Jake is feeling depressed, or Jake is feeling degraded. Okay, in other words, they feel like all the achievements that they've made over the past years, decades, has all been taken away. All right, like they're back to square one and they're back to a disadvantage. But you know what? Maybe now Jake could see that they're under the curses, because Jake will say they're blessed, right? Which, we all blessed because we blessed through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. We know we're the Lord's chosen people. But Jake don't even know who they are. But they can't understand that they're under the curses. But maybe now they can understand they're under the curses. I'm gonna get one more word. Equal. This says Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972. The Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972, a United States federal law which amend Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the 1964 Act, to strengthen protections against employment discrimination. It prohibits discrimination in the workplace based on race, color, national origin, sex, religion, age, disability. All right, jumping down, it says, if it empowers the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to take enforcement actions against individuals, employers, and laborers unions which violated the employment provision of 1964 Act, and expanded the jurisdiction of the commission as well. It also requires employers to make reasonable accommodation for the religious practice of employees. 2 Corinthians 4:8, it says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed. And let's start with the elect of Israel, all right? The elect of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the ones out doing the highways and byways, doing the works of the Heavenly Father, and the ones keeping the law, statutes, commandments to the best of their ability, okay? It says we are troubled on every side, but not distressed. We are perplexed, but not despair, okay? Now, 2/3, ultimately in the kingdom, all Israel will be in the kingdom, okay? But right now, 2/3 is going to face despair, all right? Because, yeah, we are all going to feel the heat coming from these different policies and whatnot, okay? But what's our hope? Okay, our hope is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Hakwadash. Okay, the Holy Spirit. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Okay. It says, always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahweh Shai, that the life also of Yahweh Shai might be made manifest in our body. Okay. But that was the point. For we are troubled on every side. It says we are perplexed, but not in despair. Yeah, we're perplexed. We're in a low state, right? But not despair. And let's go to the word despair real quick. Now, this is Strong's G1820, exporero, from the Greek exporero. And the Strong's info says to be utterly at a loss. All right. So we're not utterly at a loss, because we know these things have to happen, especially in the end times, in the end days. All right, scriptures say perilous times shall come. Okay, so we know these things are fitting to happen. Isaiah 31:1 says, woe to them that go down to Babylon. Salakia, this is Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots. Right, so Egypt, spiritually, America is at Egypt. All right, now people go down to Egypt for help because they go down to Egypt to pass those laws and pass those policies and acts and whatnot. Okay, and they depend on them. All right, now if you got a policy passed that makes it look easier for you to endure these troublesome times, that's a beautiful thing. All right, but to depend on those policies and depend on Esau, that'll be a foolish thing. You know, it's one thing to pray to the Most High and then take action, right? May the Lord guide you. But it's another thing to just trust in going to the government and trust that everything's going to be okay and things are going to get better, right? They don't. Esau, the so-called white man, do not like the Israelites. All right, and do not like you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And now he's going to show you that. Or to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, right? Their power, all right, their authority, their police, the military, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh. Okay, so you don't seek Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, now all hell's about to break loose. Jake is wondering what they're gonna do. All right, now let's go. And you know what too? Ultimately, what's gonna happen is they're gonna implement that RFID microchip, the mark of the beast. All right. Now I'm tell you why I said that. Let's look back at the DEI. it says, which includes a provision that government contractors take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and employees are treated fairly during employment without regard to their race, creed, color, national origin. Okay, now already you have DEI employees already sent home. Okay, so what's gonna happen is this. Now in the past, when they had the venom, the jumpers, whatever you want to call it, right, they passed it, but then to combat not taking it and still going to work, you would use religion. All right, but now with this policy being removed, you can no longer do that. So you are required to take whatever they implement. Okay, so now this makes it easier for them to implement certain things, and you won't be able to fight back or keep your job based on whatever religion or whatever belief you may have. All right, so it's gonna make passing these different laws, legislations that are more draconian, is gonna make it more smoother. 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Right? Let's go to this word Satan. Okay. Strong's G4567. Satanas. It says accuser. Okay. The main thing you're looking for here is the accuser or slanderer, right? And who's that accuser and slanderer? That's an actual man, Esau, even the so-called white man, who accuses us. When I say us, I mean the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? And these things are going to get even worse, right? And he's removing policies that are put in place to defend us from certain, especially us, right? Going back to the civil rights movements, especially the so-called Negroes, right? The Latinos, Native Americans. Now those policies being removed, so now basically there's no defense. Which also the ultimate defense is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay. Let's go back. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." Yeah, we're not ignorant of his devices. So you already see what's going on with Esau. We already see what he's about to do. And we've been saying this thing. All right, he's gonna pass these laws. They're gonna come down having that great wrath. They're gonna pass laws. All right, they're gonna put certain legislations in place that's really gonna cripple any chances of all the people, but mainly targeting Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Is gonna cripple our advantages. Okay, if that makes sense. Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? The answer is no. Then may he also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Right? So who's accustomed to doing evil? Esau, right? The accuser, the slanderer, the devil. All right? Satan. All right? Whereas devil is Diablos, which that means the adversary. So Jake got to know their enemy. Right? So can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. never trust thine enemy, you know? Yeah, we living in this place. We gotta use certain skills, you know? You gotta use certain, gotta be subtle, you know? You gotta supplant this man. At the same time, though, you can't trust them, right? So here, especially these women, they probably thought, this is their chance. They're gonna do something big, but it's, they already know when Trump got in office, it was gonna be some shit. But no one knew it was gonna be like this, So, hey, it's gonna be a hell of a year. All eyes open, prayed up, be circumspect. Those are this was just going into some of the policies that were passed, and Lord willing, edifying lesson. The one still prayers and honors, glory go to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakwadash, double honors the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone. Citation, I can push this word, sincerity, honesty, and hopeful, let constantly enduring. Shalom.